We're going to have to determine the angle on these and the length. Let's go to part 18 right here. Let's insert this. We're probably going to have to create another part. Let's put it somewhere right there. Close that out. Let's go to front view. See if everything kind of lines up. That looks pretty good. Be close enough so we can determine length. I think once we turn this angle out and it connects here, 12 inches is going to be real close. So we can start that. I don't want to keep these the same, meaning I want to make the part, the tube. I think when it rotates out, 12 inches may be just the right length, especially if we set this and insert it. Alright, good. So let's go into Part Studio. Let's go to front view. Let's go to sketch. Left click on the front plane. Left click on center point circle. Left click or hover over the center and then draw that out after you left click. Alright, let's go up. Left click on the dimension tool. Left click after you hover on the diameter of the circle. Left click again and enter 0.5 because it's going to be a tube. Alright, so that was front plane. Let's go up here to top plane, create a new sketch, select top plane, select the line tool, hover over the center, left click, draw that out, left click again, pull that away, hit escape, go up to the dimension tool, left click on that, pull that away. Let's go 12 inches to start with. Close that sketch. Let's go to isometric view. Let's go over here to sweep. Click on the outer surface of the circle for face of sketch 1. Left click on swept path. Hover over the line, left click, or sweep 17. Make sure we've got it set at solid and new. Click the check mark. Let's go up here and shell that. So we'll hollow it out. Left click on that part. Left click on this part on both of those circles. And then we'll go 0.0625, 16th of an inch. Close that out. And those should be set. Let's go down here. Let's right click on this. Let's rename it. And we'll go side spar tube, and that's going to be right now at 12 inches, and then we may have to change the size later on and the naming. Right click on that, go up to edit appearance, and let's give it the silver color for aluminum. Close that out. There's our part. Let's go over into assembly view. Let's go insert, go down to part 21, 12-inch side spar. Let's bring that over, get it close to where we want it. That'll work. Left click, close that out. Angle, let's bring that over. Slider mate, left click, scroll around, left click on the tube. Oops, it didn't select it. Left click on that. Left, I'm going to zoom in here because I've got them so close. Left click on that surface. Those two matched. Set our limits at 1.5 for the maximum. Close that. Actually, I want to open that back up and just hit play. Make sure it's going in the right direction. Yeah. So that inserts there. Close that out. Let's go back to top view. Scroll in. Left click on that. And we'll do that. Let's just type it in 1.5 inches. There. So now we know it's set where we want it. Let's go back to top view. So we're going to go back into this part setting, find that angle, and bring it out. And that's why we wanted to mate it so that the tube would kind of come out with it and move with it. Part Studio. Let's close the tube out. That's the one we want. We want sketch 7. So we don't want to change the original here. We want to change this one. So So we close that out. That's sketch 7. We got to come back to that. I was going into sketch 5 and it wasn't working. It wasn't updating the parts. All right, that's close. Let's turn some of these other ones off real quick. And we'll just turn all of that back on in just a second. I want to get down to that part and be able to. So I changed the sliders on both of those. I just hit show mates, went down, double clicked on the slider, and made sure that they went to the same location because I had to move the engine down. And that's going to put us about 9 inches from the hang point to the swing arms. So that'll be where the thrust line's at, and that's fine. And I actually put all those parts back on that I turned off and just look at everything. Directly through the tube. We have gone in and we brought these down. Let's look at the distance real quick before we go any further. So this is going to be where the swing arms are at. This is going to be where the harness hooks in. And it looks like we are in the center distance 8 inches apart. That's perfect. So we'll go in and change the length of this, and then I'll also show you what I changed on the angle of this part. Down to sketch 7 for this part. Let's look for it. It's going to be the front and back frame connection. We went to sketch 7. We changed that angle back to 140. So we clicked on it, we typed in 140. We closed that out. We hit enter, so it accepted it and then closed that out. And it changed both parts for us. We're going to scroll down to that 12-inch tube. Let's go ahead and turn it on. So we click on the eye. Let's go into the sketch for that. Scroll down and let's change that to 11. I think 11 inches will be perfect for that. Let's close that out. That should have updated the sides part. Now, since we're using those slider mates, we may have to redo the slider mate. It may adjust that when we import back in. Let's go back and see. And even though it's in the same location here, you'll notice, I believe, let me scroll in, if this is the same as what happened for the other ones. Scroll in. Now you notice it was 1.5 inches in here, so now we're going to have to move that in. Let's keep it there. So let's change the name on that. Let's go back into Part Studio. Let's see if it'll let us change that. All right, so that's been changed. Let's go back into Assembly View. I just want to see if it changes the part name. Yeah, it did. Changed it there. All right, so we're going to have to reprint these, but we're also going to have to do those T-fittings. I want to create those and do those at the same time. Okay, let's create a new side spar fitting because we're going to have to print those off too. Let's go create new sketch. Select the plane, center point circle, hover over the center and drag. Left click on the dimension tool up here. Left click again on the outer part of that circle. Let's make this 0.5. Select another center point circle, hover over the center, left click, draw that out. And let's make that, go up to the dimension tool, make that 1 inch. The larger circle. Good. Let's go over here to the line tool. Let's draw our line out. Make sure that you see this little vertical symbol down here. Draw that away, hit escape. Use your dimension tool, hover over the line, drag that away to 2 inches so we can see it. We're going to hover over the center of this circle. Select it and then select this line. We'll go up. That's going to be 19 inches. So I'm going to go to top plane real quick And these are going to be the surfaces, so both this one and that one. Make sure you select both. That way to hollow out the center. Solid new. Revolve axis. Click on that, it'll turn blue. Once you select it, left click on our axis of rotation. Good. But instead of full, we want one direction. Here, I'm going to change our angle so we can kind of look at that. Let's go to front view. Let's change our angle here. And we don't want, so we did, I think 12 degrees for the last one. We don't want that much. Let's go down to about 8 degrees. Make sure it's solid new, face of sketch, edge of sketch, one direction. Close that out. Alright, that looks good. Let's make sure it's hollow. Yes, it is. So front plane, and this is facing that direction. Scroll down here. I'm going to turn that part off for now. We're going to create in left plane a circle. Let's go sketch, select that plane, front plane or left plane, and let's go center point circle, hover over, draw that out. Hit the dimension tool, left click on the outside, drag that away. We're going to go 1 inch. Let's go back to front plane, left click on sketch tool, left click on front plane, left click on the line tool, hover over the center. Let's draw this out in this direction in the front plane. Left click, drag away, hit escape, go up, left click on the dimension tool, left click on the line, drag that out to 2 inches, or select and enter 2 inches. Good. Close that out. Let's go back to isometric view so we can see that. Let's go to sweep, solid new, faces to sketch. We'll select this one. Swept path, select that. Close that out. Let's shell that. Left click on that face, left click on this face, change it to 0.2385. Close that out. Alright, so now we have that. Let's turn part 22 back on. Let's look at that in relation. Before we move it, rotate it in this direction, 30 degrees. I'm going to take that the other way. So I selected part 23, rotate, found the mate connector for it. It's this one right here. I want it to go the other way because that's really what direction we'll be facing it. I want to do the rotation first before I move it. So we'll go to top plane, we'll go new sketch, select top plane, let's draw a line. Actually just going to draw it out from here. Doesn't matter the length, hit escape, close that out. We're going to try to use that as a rotation. Let's go transform, select the part we want to rotate, and let's select that line. Let's select the mate connector of that. Alright, there's front. Yeah, that'll give us what we want. So we're going to rotate this. Let's close that out. That's going to be transform 20 for that one. So we'll know going this direction, we rotate it that way. And then transform 19 brings it up and down. Alright, now we're going to do another transform, but X, Y, and Z. So we're going to move this part. And we're going to go X, Y, and Z. We're just going to move that up. Good. So I want to go back into 20 just to see if it gives us the ability to move it the way we want. Yeah, I think it's going to work that way. Good, yeah. So now we can move it forward and back, or up and down with transform 19. That'll give us the angles we want. Let's make it a part. So left click on part 22, left click on part 23. Let's go boolean. So, and we're just going to leave it that color for now. Let's rename it. All right, good. Let's go back to assembly view. Let's go to insert, side spar connection, part 22. Let's bring it up here, get it close to where we want it. Let's go back to Part Studio. Let's go back down to our transform. So that was, I believe, transform 20. Yeah. Let's bring that up. Let's go 10 degrees first. So 5 and 5. Let's go back into assembly view. Ooh, close. Let's go to 10 degrees. And go back into assembly view. And that's going to be it. We're going to leave it there. That's going to be our part. I'm going to go to mirror. We want to duplicate that one. Plane. Let's just go here. All right, that's what I want. And I want a new part. Check mark. Let's go to transform. And let's select this part here, X, Y, and Z. Let's just move these apart so we can see that they're two different parts. That looks good. Close that out. Down here and rename this one. So rename. So that is part 22 and part 23 side spar connection. Let's right click and export those. We got that one. Export, and let's do 23 and export that one. So that one's exported. And turn on these two. There we go. And let's export both of those. Just going to import. Let's do these first. Import those. Those are large files, so no, they're not multi. The only problem is I'll need supports for that. Let's do these other ones just to see how big they are, because they may be way too big. No. Don't want it to be, oh, they're not too bad. Let's go ahead. Make sure nothing's going to touch. Let's preview. Layers around the bottom are replaced by nearest normal layers. Oh, okay, so what's happening is, because this one's kind of turned, I'm going to stop that. We need to go back into prepare. Go click here, lay on, guess we could do lay on that face. Either way, they're going to need supports. Now let's try that again. Good. Looks like they're going to print, and what you see here is they're going to have to print all of that support just so that these don't droop. Same thing on these, and we'll just break that off. We can go to print plate and print it. I'm going to go ahead and save it.